Today's video, we're going to talk about accountant PPC strategies that actually work, taken from somebody who's ran several accounting campaigns and done very, very well with them. I'm going to cover what those are, what we specifically use, so you can replicate them for your own account, for your own business. Here's how to kill it with Google Ads for accountants. This information I'm going to share with you here today is replicatable by everybody watching. That said, it is going to take some time to set up. Anything you do with PPC, if it took 15 minutes to do, all your competition would be willing to do it. If you want the millions of dollars that can be made with your Google Ads account, and I do mean millions, you put the time in to get what Google wants you to do, what your prospective customer base to do, and you're going to get these results for yourself. I'm Corey Zyman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, a PPC agency that is well known, have been in business for 10 years now, and have worked with hundreds of different clients, several of which are specifically accountancies. I'm going to share with you what we've done in the accounting space to get super low cost per lead in the $10, $20 range for bookkeeping, CPA services, and the like. And of that, and with that, I'm going to share with you how we actually got it for the clients that we work with so you can replicate it for yourself. By the end of the video, you're going to have everything you need to replicate these results for yourself. I'm also going to go into what kind of results you could specifically expect, cost per lead, closing rate wise, ROI wise, so you know just how much money you can actually make using these strategies for your business. So with that said, to start off right off the bat, I just want to say that this is about Google Ads primarily, but everything that's going to work for Google Ads is also going to work for Microsoft/Bing. A lot of people get taken back and they're going to say, what the hell? Bing? Who the hell uses that? I can promise you 10 to 20% of your market is going to use Bing. Why? Because the default search engine on a computer, when you buy it, it will all propagate based upon Bing, and older individuals who don't know how to download a new web browser and save the default homepage as Google, they're going to be getting Bing results. That said, also, somebody who's older is going to convert at a better rate, just naturally because they don't want to spend as much time browsing around the internet, clicking around. It's harder for people to do that when they're older. No offense to anybody who's older watching, but this is the reality. Therefore, the profitability of your Bing ads can be, of what you could get through Google and Bing, 30% of it should just be from Bing as a result of the higher conversion rates. It's also less competitive. A lot less of your competitors are going to know what I'm telling you about Bing. Therefore, it's also going to be lower cost per lead, and then with that, higher conversion rates on the lead to sale, or the lead to sale rate. That is a call, how many book, or out of 10 calls, how many book. You're going to get a higher booking rate to, and actually not just booking, but people actually committing to actual services with your firm and then that'll be higher. You get more bang for your buck for each phone call than you will with Google as a whole. That said, getting into the strategy, and then with that, by the way, anything you do on Google that works, everything I'm about to say about Google, you can transmute all of that into Bing for the most part, unless I'm talking about running ads on YouTube, display network, and the like. That said, for the most part, you can already do so well just running the search ad successfully in your local market that you can make millions of dollars without having to do anything else. Did want to take it to the next level, you could add YouTube ads. They do work. You can run display ads. They do work. You can run Facebook ads. They do work. I'll talk a little bit about that as well, but I'm primarily going to focus about search ads because usually speaking, when somebody needs an accountant and the most serious people, they're going to just go to Google. You got to be there at the right time. And with that, you're going to have people ready to do business right away with you. And there's enough to make millions all in itself per year for your business. So whatever works on Google will work on Bing. The two main avenues that you want to go with in setting up your ads for your accountancy, to just, if you want to pull all the low-hanging fruit, if you will, is specific service-based searches. So somebody looking for bookkeeping services, CPA services, tax auditing services, back tax filing services, auditing support services, and the like. What you should do is write down all the service offerings that you offer, and define all of them, and then you should set up a campaign for each individual one. specifically separately. Why? Because the lead quality of generating a lead when somebody types in auditing support services is so much different than somebody typing in tax accountancy near me or whatever. Why? Because they're already understanding what they need. Somebody who types that in isn't saying, maybe I should use somebody, maybe I shouldn't. Even though when somebody's looking for a local tax service, they're already pretty committed by default, but it's still not, you're not going to get the same closing rate as somebody already looking for a specific service. So if you're going to start anywhere, you should start there basically, because the people that call, you can book 75% of them, whereas if somebody types in tax service near me, you might only get 40-50% closing rates. So you should start there. And when you target those terms, it should be tax auditing service, tax auditing companies, tax auditing near me. All of that should be what you target first. Somebody typing in tax auditing, no service, no company, nothing after it, can actually become a client at your firm. It has the potential for it. But if you're going to start somewhere and you just wanted to get to profitability as soon as possible, don't do any of that right away. You can add that in later. And then I would recommend adding it as a whole separate campaign. Why? Because it's going to perform so much differently than the person who adds the services, companies, firms after the actual term that describes the service. And also ultimately also converts a little bit differently in terms of lead to sale rate. And as I'm going to talk about later on in this video, in order to get the mega results where you truly want to make the millions running ads on Google for your business, you need to track whether leads turn into a sale and not just optimize for cheap calls being generated, but cheap sales and an actual ROI. Be given, you could pay twice as much for one lead over another based upon how they're searching, because one's going to convert into a sale at twice the rate as the other. And also, obviously, the amount of revenue that you're going to generate from one type of search over another is very much different. So at the end of the day, if you're not optimizing for profit, you're just optimizing for calls, you're going to leave 2/3 of the profit that you can make from your ads completely just on the table. So with that said, if you really want this to make the millions and you want an ad and a landing page that you're taking them to on your site or wherever you're taking them to on the site needs to be better than your local competition. Why? Because Google, practically speaking, wants to send as much as they can to the person who helps their user the most, because that makes people want to click on ads in the future and makes Google long-term money. So in their world, their most ideal situation is to find the one or two companies that help their user the best in terms of relevant ad, relevant page they're taking them to that serves the user's needs, and then just send all the business there. Why? Because why not? Why spread it out over 5 or 10 companies that want in on those top 4 ad spots on Google when they know who serves the user the best and give it all to them, because that's going to help their users the most, and that's how it is. So practically speaking, you either get on Google's good side or bad side. And if you get on Google's good side, you make the millions. If you don't make hardly anything, if anything, because of course you got to get so many jobs per your ad budget, or you're going to be at a net negative ROI. So it does not pay half-ass what you're doing. You go all the way with it and get all the money, or just don't do it at all. And practically speaking, you'll always get a return on your investment doing it the right way. Where people get hung up is they say, well, I want to invest a little bit of money, and when it works, I'll invest the real money into it. The reality is, it's like put shot glass worth of gas in your car and saying, when it runs and I'm going down the street, I'm going to put some gas in this thing because I know it works, which is dumb. Google Ads works. If it didn't work, nobody in your market would be doing it. The only question is, can you do it well enough to where it pays for itself? And that will be the case every single time for you if you just follow my instructions here that I'm giving you and you don't take any shortcuts. So with that said, you also, half of the equation is not just the good ad, but the good landing page. You want to set up a custom landing page to take them to for every single service. For back tax filing, you need to have a unique landing page for that on your website, and specifically create a custom landing page for that user. Why custom landing page? Because when somebody clicks on an ad, they expect exactly what you offered them on the ad right away. Not only that, but they have super low attention spans because they know they can just click back to Google and click on something else at any time if they want to. So they are literally getting your webpage saying, should I leave? 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 And if you are super good at communicating to the user that you do the service, you cover their area, and they could trust you, you're only going to get part of your money out of those people that you've paid to get to your site. And so you need to communicate those three things in 5 seconds or less, or you're going to have some drop off. People that could have done business with you and that could have called, but don't, because you were too inefficient about how you're communicating. And people are going to scoff at this and say, oh, it's so expensive and time consuming to make a landing page for everything. Why can't I just send them to my home page? Or why can't I send them just to one landing page for everything? And you can. You just ain't going to get all the money. So it's up to you. Do you want to make a little money? Do you want to make a lot? If you want to make a lot, you got to do it the way that I'm mentioning here, because that way makes way, way, way more money than doing the whole sending them to your home page or just sending them to a generic page. Not only that, you should use a single keyword ad group setup. A lot of people are going to scoff at this as well. Ultimately, when somebody types in back tax service, they don't want to see no damn ad that says tax services in Denver. It's too generic. And when there's 4 ads to decide to click on Google, and somebody has an ad that says back tax service on there, and yours says, when they type in back tax service, and your ad says tax accountancy Denver, what do you think that they're going to click on? I mean, seriously, what do you click on? This is where it baffles me. People, what they want on Google when they make a search for something is not what they will do as a business owner for their users. So they're basically hypocrites. Bend at the knee for them, but they will not do hardly anything to help their users find what they want from them easier than their competition. And you can have that big ego and scoff at what I'm telling you here. You're just not going to make the money. Nobody cares what you think. It's just what the user wants, what Google wants, what the user wants, and either you give it to them and you make all the money or you don't. So with that said, you want to have a custom ad for every way that people are searching. And in the accountancy space, you're having hundreds of different searches that you want to tap into where people are looking to hire somebody. So if they're typing in auditing support, you need to damn well have an ad that says auditing support firm. And you need to take them to a landing page that says auditing support at the very least. And ideally, if you want the most money, auditing support firm. You know, going further with this, you need to have the city name, specifically where you're located in the ad and in the landing page as well. So if you're in Denver, it needs to say auditing support in Denver, and the landing page needs to say auditing support in Denver, because they need to know that you cover their area, and they're not going to call and find out that you service their area or just assume it. If you make them assume it, you're going to lose leads, you're going to lose money every single time. I promise you that. I've ran hundreds of campaigns. I already know this is the case. I know it's in the case in the accountancy space. So you can either get the money or leave it on the table. It's up to you. But I'm telling you for a fact, if you leave that little simple fact out, you're going to lose money. Then, of course, people want to trust you. So on your landing page, if you're not saying how long you've been in business, what your average review rating is on Google, Yelp, any place that you've been reviewed at, without saying that you're A+ BBB rated, these are the key things that people are looking for. And if you leave them off or don't think that they're important, you're going to lose money again. With all that said, that's the basic formula that you need to follow if you're going to be able to beat your competition. And if, again, like I said before, if you beat your competition, Google's going to pour it all on you. They want you to, if they could send every last user they could to you when you have the best ad and the best landing page for the user, they absolutely will and can. And they don't give a shit. This isn't communism where everybody gets to earn equally. This is a capitalistic environment on Google Ads. The person who makes the best experience for their users makes all the money. That's the way that it is. And practically speaking, I know because I ran hundreds of accounts and run ads in hundreds of markets, 80% of the people running ads on Google aren't making any money. You may say, well, why do they advertise? They don't even know they're not making money because they don't track their ads. So they just shove their head firmly in the sand and they just pretend like it's working, and that because they have bias about hiring somebody who really knows what they're doing to help them. They don't think, oh, $2,000 a month to hire somebody. I can't do that. I can't afford that. Yet they'll spend $1,000 a month on ads and it's completely getting a negative ROI and they're working for free. But that's people's biases. It works to your advantage because if you're not like that and you just understand that you invest the money that they're not willing to invest and then therefore have the best ad, you're going to make millions upon millions of dollars running these ads for your business. Going back to kind of the topic at hand, the targeting wise, the closer the person is to your office, the higher the rate that the ad's going to convert into a call. If they're within 5 miles of your office, you should be able to get upwards of 50% of people to call when they hit your landing page. Okay, if they're between 5 and 20 miles, that can easily drop to 25%. Okay, why? Because naturally, the accountancies all over the city, they don't have to drive further, and that's one of the main factors still also that's going to help them decide, make their final decision whether they're going to go with you or not. So your goal would be to try to spend your whole starting budget in that 5-mile radius around your office. If you can't spend it all, then you're going to go 10 miles. If you can't still spend it all, you're going to go 20 miles. That's the formula right there that I use to make millions of dollars a year in profit, not just revenue, but profit in larger metro areas at least, with these ads that we've set up in the accountancy space. Do a quick side. If you didn't want to set up all these ads, I've already built them all out. I got all the keyword research. I know the ads that work. We got the landing page templates. If you want to just buy it from us, just contact me at guaranteedppc.com and I'll sell it to you. It's not going to be $50 because there's millions of dollars worth of value there, but it's going to be 4 figures and it's all just turnkey. You copy paste it into your account, you can get the results. Of course, if you're looking somebody to manage everything for you, because it's not going to manage itself per se, this is also what we do at our firm. That also, we guarantee results for our clients. That is, if you're not getting a certain minimum amount of leads from the campaigns that we set up for you at the beginning of our relationship, you don't have to pay us anything. No other firm offers anything like that because they can't deliver consistent results enough to even make an offer like that. But we do that as well. So if you want to hire the best person that has the most experience in the accounting space and skills in PPC and Google Ads in general, has been doing it for many years, 10 years, you're not going to find a better person to help you set it up, basically. So if you're going to go anywhere, you might as well go with us. And we can get you an estimate of what you're going to actually make in terms of profit before we ever begin, and know that up front going in with us because we already know the market. With that said, getting back into the content here, you can also set up a search campaign for people that are searching generically, not for a particular service, but they're searching for tax firms near me, tax services, tax agencies, whatever. Okay, that is what you're going to do second if you can't spend all your money on the service-specific searches. And with that, though, I'm going to want to make sure that they use the word agency, firms, companies, services near me, something on the keyword to target it at all. But otherwise, you're going to have too much of a mixed bag, and it's really just not profitable to go after like taxes or anything like that. It's stupid. Okay. So, and then with that, you got to have a custom landing page again. The landing page is going to be a generic landing page that doesn't talk about any particular service. So you kind of have like a catch-all, and you're going to do the single keyword ad group setup again, where you have custom ads for each keyword. And with that, be able to get profitable. If you for sure want your ads to be profitable for these keywords, that's what you need to do. So that gives you the general Google Ads formula that you can make millions of dollars in as long as you're in a decent size, top 50 most populous metro area in the U.S. You can easily do that. You can make millions of dollars a year in profit, literally speaking, with just this setup alone. If you want to go further, or let's say you're in a smaller market, it works better, frankly, in a smaller market. You can actually run content marketing to people who are researching stuff about how to hire somebody in this space, or, I got a tax audit, what do I do? And you can start targeting people along those lines. And with that, my advice to you would be to start on Google search. So if they're typing in, I got a tax audit, what do I do? I'm going to have an ad that says, did you get it audited by the IRS? Here's what you do. I'm going to send them to a informational page on my website that talks about it. The best there, I can already tell you, is to have an article that looks like a news article, and then recommending who people are using to do what the article advises the person to do in the city that you're in, and then you'll generate leads that way. It's a little bit tacky, but that's effectively what works, because people are not going to have their guards up as they read that article. And for me, as long as the article doesn't lie about the situation, and you're going to be helping them a lot by getting that recommendation, you do it. So I would start there. I would do all the informational based searches like that, and that's my funnel for that on tap into Google search and Bing search. From there, I'm also going to run demand gen campaigns, or demand gen campaign targeting, which gets you on Gmail, and then on YouTube, like a little text-based ad. And I'm going to target all the people who have searched, first of all, for anything related to tax services already. That's number one. Then number two, I'm going to target anybody who searched for information about hiring a tax firm. How do I hire a tax accountant? Then I'm going to get into what do I do if I was audited and going and target those people. And with that, I'm going to have an offer set up to get their attention so that, if an ad shows up and you don't have an offer on it, it's not going to be very effective. Practically speaking, you want the offer to be tied into whatever it is that they were searching for. So if they were searching for information about auditing, if I got audited, you're going to have a separate campaign offer and landing page to send them to for audits. So it says, you'll have an ad that says, have you been audited? See these 5 tips to deal with it right away. You're going to drive them to that landing page. It's going to be an article. And that article, again, is going to explain really quickly in simple terms what you do if you're audited. And then you have your recommendation by the end of the article, if you will. With that said, also, if the person searched for actual services in the past and you're tapping into those people, that is, they typed in tax services Denver, okay? They didn't, for some reason, click on your ad on Google search. You still want to get that person. Well, you have an ad that shows up for them later on Gmail/YouTube. And basically what you can do there that we found is you can actually have something that says, hire the best tax accountant in Denver, see how to do that. And then they click that ad and then you drive them again to a particular article that just kind of goes over the details about like how to know people that are in Denver. This is how do they know to pick the right accountancy. Then I'm going to tap into that as well. You have some other options to try to get people's attention. You could actually say, we're offering 50% off the first month's fees. Generally speaking, in this space, I think that's kind of tacky. People don't necessarily care about prices as much as they do. They just want to hire the best firm, assuming that the prices are similar to all the other firms in the area. And with that, you're going to help them understand how to pick the right firm. And going along with that, I'm going to run YouTube campaigns. If anybody is searching for that has made a search like that on Google in the recent past, which, by the way, to target them, you create something called a custom intent audience. So that, and then with that, you're saying, Google, if anybody searched for, information about, what to do if they've had a tax audit, then your ad's going to be able to show up for them. You target the same people also with the YouTube campaign. So if they're watching a video on YouTube in general, it doesn't have to be a tax video, my video ad that has the same message on it will drive people to that article with that. And then on top of that, with YouTube though, you can also target people who are they're actively looking for information on YouTube about how to deal with the tax audit. Then my video ad shows up there and then it sends people to the article again. Okay. So we're going to have demand gen campaigns. We're going to have YouTube campaigns. And then finally, you can have display campaigns, which that gets you banner ads on, different websites out on the web. Basically, any website you see with banner ads, you can tap into that with a display campaign, Google display campaign, of which what I like to always do with that is go to the first page of Google and anybody, like if I'm trying to target people that tax auditing service or, auditing support, any web page that ranks in the top 10, I'm going to make a list of those pages, see if they have banner ads running on those sites. If they do, I'm going to target those web pages and websites individually, mainly by targeting the domain and then targeting keywords as well, which gets you basically your ad to only show up on pages within that website that's about the topic at hand, which essentially allows you to laser target individual web pages. And so if they're on a page then effectively that talks about if you've been audited, what do you do? Then you can have a banner ad that says, have you been recently audited? See the 5 things to fix it right away. And that will just be text on your banner ad, which a lot of people that make banner ads, they just have all these pretty pictures. The best stuff that generally works the best is just a message. If you understand what somebody wants to hear, that's all you need. And then that banner ad drives them to the article again. So you can see how you can do so many different ways to actually, if you're not satisfied with the amount of demand you can get from your search ads on Google, which can already just blow up your business. You can actually basically get in front of every single person who's looking up information about how to hire somebody in the tax space, how to deal with something that your firm fixes, what are your options to deal with a particular problem. All of that you can get in front of all those people and then drive them to your personalized article, if you will, as I described, that talks about how to fix the problem or how to find the best person in your area to hire for tax services or that particular tax service. And then within that, you recommend your own firm by the end of the article. You can generate a ton of leads that way because none of your competitors are going to be doing it. It's really, in most markets, going to be totally wide open and available to you. Sometimes, particularly if you're in a market that we're in, you're going to have competition there. But with that, you can generate leads for a similar cost as what you can generate them for and through Google search ads. Even though they don't convert quite the same, you need 2 to 3 times as many to get the same level of sales. They're still worth doing. It's still profitable as per what we found doing it in the accountancy space. And that's how you leverage and go outside of Google search and where you should go. And with that, you probably have as many possible leads as you could want. There's really not any reason to advertise anywhere else, unless you're talking about like getting into doing direct mail. And when somebody has had an event, if you will, like they got prosecuted for tax this or that, you could send a letter out to them and say, we specialize in helping people like this. And that could be another idea that I've seen works. But for all practical purposes, when you advertise that you're an expert and then they come to you and they think it's their idea that they found you, it's really the best positioning to be in. That is having banner ads / YouTube ads, whatever, show up for people while they're doing research in your market, and then driving them to an article that recommends you. They're going to come in and they're going to be very interested, and they're going to listen to what you have to say. You're going to get good compliance from them and so forth. That said, I have some other bonus tips here I wanted to share with you also about how to get more out of what I just told you here. As a side, all the information I'm giving you on this channel is coming from somebody who spends 40 hours a week doing ad testing and ad strategy for a few dozen clients we have at our advertising agency that specializes in online ads. If you're trying to make millions of dollars a year running ads for your business, this is the channel you want to subscribe to, as the information doesn't get any better than this. I can promise you 99% of the information you find online about how to run ads successfully is made by people who don't run any ads, run a couple ads, they're just trying to sell you a course. None of it's relevant or very relevant at all. Or they're giving you tidbits of information that you can just go to YouTube to Facebook or to Google to find out for yourself. Therefore, it's not useful. And we have to guarantee results for our clients at our firm. What we use to guarantee results, I give to you on this channel for free. If you're going to pay attention to anybody and subscribe to anybody, absolutely subscribe and pay attention to this channel first, because the information, I promise you, isn't going to be any better than you can find anywhere else. So you should subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. You should also check out my blog on my site, where I have step-by-step actions that you can use, specific strategies we're using to guarantee clients results at our firm. You can find that at guaranteedppc.com/blog. You'll really like that as well. So that said, I'm going to give you some more content here that's going to help you right away get more revenue from your accountancy on the leads that you have, but more importantly, from the leads that you're going to generate on the campaign setup I just gave you. So with that said, you want to do sales tracking. I touched on this a bit ago. I said I'd come back to it. All of this I talked about. You want to track whether the leads turn into sales, and then you want to feed that sales data back into your ad account so that you can find certain videos that your ad showed up on, certain keywords or searches that your ad showed up for, and so forth, that worked and got you a sale, and more importantly, got you a sale at a profitable ROI that you know you need. That is, like, you need a $5 in sales revenue for every dollar you spend on ads. You can start out unprofitable, and if you just advertise long enough, the system is going to then tell you what's worth doing and what's not through process of elimination. So you want to do sales tracking. Your competition's not going to be doing that, and that's going to be able to scale your ads more than anything long term once you got this direct system set up, because it's going to understand the people that type in tax services that are profitable to you versus not, because Google's going to sub-segment your traffic based upon that user on the user level, who they are, what websites they visited in the past, and they can't do that for you if you don't give them the data about who buys and who doesn't buy. You'll literally make 3 times as much money optimizing your campaigns on the profit level versus cost per lead level, even though 70% of the people in your market aren't even going to do lead tracking, that is, track phone calls or form fills directly. So you'll just have a massive advantage if you do that alone. That said, moving on here, smart bidding, you do the sales tracking, then you feed the data into your account using something called offline conversion tracking. If you were wondering how to do that, you can watch my video on that. Search for it on my channel homepage. That said, you use smart bidding with the sales data, and you tell Google, okay, I want a 5-to-1 return on our ad spend. It will literally do all the work for you, practically speaking, in finding all the ad placements and everything that you set up your ads to run on that worked and got you a 5-to-1 return and what didn't. And I don't know why everybody else doesn't think this is important, but it's literally that simple. Sales tracking plus smart bidding your returns are going to keep getting better and better because the system gets smarter and smarter in understanding where your customer are, who they are specifically, and so forth. So everything I talked about will make your ads profitable up front, but the profitability will keep getting more and more and more the more data you rack up in your account about what was successful and what was not, and what got you the ROI you wanted and what didn't. Do you want to do that as well? Also, you want to get more out of what I just told you, do have a booking link on your website. So you don't want to force people to book online because a lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people try to do that and it's stupid. You're going to lose a ton of business that way. However, a lot of people do like to book online. They don't want to call. So you have a booking link so they can check out or they can book directly from your landing page as an option. So they can call, they can fill out a contact form to reach out to you, and they can also fill out a booking form so they can book right away without having to call. You also, to ratchet up how much money you make from these leads, or should I say from the traffic you're getting, you're going to do text replies. So you have a call to action on your landing page that says, text this number to be able to schedule an appointment, because some people like doing text. Everybody has a different preferred method of communication. The more of them you offer, the more replies you're going to get. The more replies you get, obviously, the more sales you're going to be able to make. Then you also I would recommend going in with and add a live chat to that page. Set up the live chat so if they're on the page about auditing support, that you have something that says, hey, I'm an auditing support specialist at the firm. Why are you inquiring, auditing? How'd you get audited? How can I help you with that? And that looks like a real human talking to them, and then they'll start replying, and then you got a lead now. A lead that a lot of people would just never have called, even though they had the problem, but they were a little bit intimidated to call. They were maybe just not quite ready to call. They were doing some preliminary research. Now you got the ability to get them to respond, whereas maybe they would have came back after when they were ready before, but most likely not. So you lock that lead down. So I would recommend that as well, given some people like to chat. A lot of people will still call, but a lot of people like chatting as well, and that just ratchets up the number of leads you can get from the same ad spend. The other thing I would want to mention to you is enforce speed of reply. The quicker you respond to your form leads, the more sales you're going to get. A lot of people neglect this. They say, oh, I can get back to the lead within 24 hours. It's already good enough. I can promise you, you're going to only get in contact with like half of these people if you do that. Versus if you reach out to the form lead within 15 minutes during business hours, you're going to get almost everybody on the phone at that point in time. Program you can have that's called Call Drip. You can Google it. It'll actually make it so when somebody fills out the form, it'll automatically call your sales lady or your secretary, if you will, and it'll say, John Smith just filled out the form on your landing page. Would you press 1 if you'd like to get in touch with the person who filled out the form? You hit 1, and then automatically it calls that person. So you not just can ask your salespeople to get in contact with the form leads as quickly as possible, but it'll actually force them to get in contact with the lead within 60 seconds. That makes a huge difference in your profitability there. Naturally, then of course, if anybody calls, you got to have a way to answer the phone every time. And if that person that you have answering the phone now is busy because they got other calls, you got to have a backup person. And you need to have a system set up where it calls 3 or 4 people, and whoever answers the phone first gets it so that you don't miss any damn calls. And you can do that with simulcall through CallRail if you have a CallRail account. And you need CallRail to track your calls anyway. And that one of the features is it'll let you call, the same call will ring multiple people at once. And that way, there's always somebody there and ready to answer the phone calls. Then the final thing I wanted to mention was multi-step forms. One of the things you can do to get a higher rate of click to lead, or some people that get to your landing page that turn into a lead. Tax services, you can take them to a landing page that says, get an instant price quote for your tax service needs. And then there's a question that says, what are you actually inquiring to do in terms of what do you need the tax services for? And they answer the question. Then another question pops up, then another, and then after 4 or 5 questions, something at the end says, a rep will call you within 60 seconds to tell you exactly how much this will roughly cost. So you don't have to have, in other words, an automated system that can give them a quote. You're still giving them what you promised, and that turns into a hot lead. And the reason why this will increase the amount of leads you get is because a lot of people, again, they don't want to talk to somebody right away, or they're not ready to, but they would be willing to get an instant quote through some system there on your landing page, and that just gets you more leads that way. So if you want to get the most leads, you can try that out as well and add that as a part of your landing page. But all of this stuff if you do all this, I promise you, there's no way you're going to come back to me later on and say you're not making great money, because this is all stuff that is proven. It works every time, and your competition's too lazy to do it. And yes, it's a time consuming to set it all up, but anything that makes millions of dollars, why would it be so easy to do? Just be happy that you know that at the end of if you do this stuff, you will make the millions. It's just because a lot of people don't know what to do. So what do you have to complain about? Yes, it's a lot of work to get it set up, but it's worth it. So what do you have to complain about here? So anyway, with that said, I talked about a lot in this particular video. If you have any questions about anything I covered, you can leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel within 24 hours. But with that said, I appreciate you watching, and I hope to see you around on the next one where we have another great strategy for you then.